I have been in my new house for a few weeks now, and my bathroom still looks like this. So if you feel like you're behind in all your tasks, just think about this and you'll feel better. If you're new here, welcome in. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. And if you're wondering what the heck is going on here, I just moved from Central Florida to Central Oregon. And I moved into my house here in Central Oregon. I had not seen it in person. I rented it over the internet, and I didn't bring a stick of furniture with me, just my personal things. So I have been busy the last few weeks, and I know it doesn't look like that with this mess behind me, but in my defense, I have been doing a lot. Of course, there has been some kayaking slipped in there, as well as a few lunches with girlfriends. So that's what's going on. I'm completely decorating this home here in the Pacific Northwest. And if you're interested in decor items and decorating and styling and that sort of thing, you might want to come along. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. As you can see behind me, my bathroom is still a mess. And I just have been doing other things. I've gotten quite a bit of furniture. Well, not quite a bit. I've gotten some furniture. I've completely refinished that old leather couch that I picked up at the thrift store a few weeks ago. Remember that? You're going to be so surprised when you see how it looks. I just finished it up last night. I've also done some fun stuff. I put together my office. Pretty much my office is ready to go, so that's good. But I finally hit that point with the bathroom where it's driving me nuts. And when I'm going to organize something like this, that's almost the most important criteria, is I have to be really, really emotionally ready. Either have a whole bunch of organizing energy on board, you know, sometimes you just get that and you want to make everything all organized, or the sense of being fed up with the mess, which is what I have now, just becomes overwhelming and I can't wait to clean it up. So we're going to clean up this bathroom today. I'm going to show you all the different things that I use when I'm organizing a space like this, and Lord knows, this place is an awful big mess. Then I'm going to show you the couch and the finished results. It's amazing to me. It truly is amazing. I had no idea it was going to end up looking this good. I bought a used couch at a local thrift store for $175, and then they charged me $25 to deliver it, which is such a bargain. And I completely re-dyed all the leather and then put a finishing wax over the top of it. It looks absolutely stunning. I'm going to show you the furniture that I have picked up so far. All of it has been thrifted. I'm pretty sure all the furniture I'm going to show you today has been thrifted. I think the only new things I've gotten are for my office upstairs, the studio, simply because I needed specific things and it was going to take me forever to try to source them through thrifting or Facebook Marketplace or estate sales and that sort of thing. So the office is all put together. I don't think I'll show you that today. I'll show it to you in, next week's video or the week after that. I have it all organized. So I'm going to show you all the furniture that I've purchased so far, where I picked them up, how much I paid. You're going to be stunned when you hear how inexpensive the furniture has been because it's all been secondhand. And then I'm going to finish up with a project, the next project, now that I'm done with the couch, the next project that I have for decorating the house. So we're organizing the bathroom right now, and I make sure that I have everything that I'm going to need. And I do like to make sure that when I put things together and organize them, I want them to stay organized. And I want things to be easy to find and quick because I don't like to fuss around. I have my handy dandy little bucket of tools, and this goes with me throughout the house depending on which room I'm working on. So I have labels in here. I have sticky notes to give myself little notes if there's things I have to remember. I have Sharpie markers for the labels. I have box cutters, and I have a screwdriver. So these are the things that go with me from room to room. Another thing that is so handy, and oh my gosh, it makes organizing so much better, is this little mounting putty. If you're not familiar with this, you might really like hearing about it. I like to keep my drawers organized with drawer organizers, the little plastic organizers that you can get. I've got a big stack back here. However, one of the things with drawer organizers is that when you open and close the drawers, the organizers will shift because if they're not butting up against one of the edges of the drawers, it makes me crazy. So this little mounting putty, they used to call it museum putty. You can get these, and now they're selling it in these little bitty, can you see that? They separated them into little bitty pieces, and you just pull off a little bit of this and put it on the underneath of the drawer, and then when you open and close the drawers, they don't slide around anymore, which is really great for me. So I have lots of organizing buckets because I like to keep things in buckets, and I like to label the buckets. And I have a cleaning solution and some paper towels. Now, the way that I do cleaning solutions in my house is I just use vinegar and water because vinegar is a natural disinfectant and it's super cheap and it's super effective. However, because I just moved, the way that I start that out is I go ahead and I buy a very, a clean cleaner. There's not a lot of crap in here. It's all good stuff. Because if I'm going to pay for an empty spray bottle, I'm going to pay just maybe $1 more for a spray bottle with something in it. So I went ahead and picked this up. It has tea tree oil in it, so it's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and use this up, and then I'm going to use this spray bottle with my vinegar and water mixture and be off to the races with that. One of the things that I did buy for the bathroom is this chair because I happen to like to sit down when I dry my hair, blow dry my hair. I don't know, it just feels more comfortable for me. So I picked this chair up at the local thrift store. It was St. Vincent de Paul's, and I paid $15 for it. I just took the sticker off this morning. So $15, super comfy chair, and this is what I sit in when I dry my hair. I'm gonna start going through buckets now, and we're gonna get this place cleaned up. I picked up this really cool silver-plated tray. Isn't that neat? From a thrift store. I don't even remember where it was. It might have even been back in Florida. The reason I liked it so much is that it has these little feet on the bottom that raise it up. It just gives it a really cool look. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my soaps in this. I generally use like goat milk soap or, that sort of thing. I don't use the soap from the from the store. So isn't that a pretty way to display soaps? This is a whole bag full of this holistic flu medication that I heard about from Penny Kelly. I can't pronounce it. It's like oscillococcinum. I can't pronounce it, but I'll have it listed down in the description box. I keep a ton of this stuff on hand because it's really, really effective. If I have any inkling that I'm getting a cold or a flu, or if I feel like my vertigo might be coming on a little bit, I'll take one of these 3 times a day, morning, noon, and evening, and it really, really is very, very effective. So you can see I've stocked up and I keep these on hand all the time. I actually keep these in my car too. If I'm ever out and I'm feeling something like a scratchy throat or anything at all, I'll go ahead and take one of these. It's like little pop rocks that you put underneath your tongue. Big, strong recommendation for this stuff. This glycerin, this is what I use to make my spray for when I'm using my devices on my face. I'll use the Zip Conducting Gel. This is the best I've found, absolutely. It's not that expensive and it's really, really worth it. And then I have a little spray bottle with glycerin and distilled water that I spray on my face as I'm using my devices to keep that slip going. This is my little 2-step duo here for when I'm using my Nebulyft and my MyoLift. One thing about both of these that I've learned over time is they hold a charge for a long time. I have my charging station for both of these upstairs in my studio, but I keep these down in my bathroom because it's easier for me to grab in the morning. And they'll both hold a charge for, gosh, a good week or so, probably more. I just end up charging them after about a week, and I use them both about 2 to 3 times a week. So little tip, you don't have to have them on the chargers all the time. I used to, I don't anymore. I keep my castor oil pack in this little plastic container right here because I just keep adding more castor oil to mine. So there's a lot of castor oil on here. There's no reason to waste it. So I just keep it in here so it doesn't get the counter or the drawer sticky with castor oil. Super handy. If you ever buy these headbands to keep your hair back, or the wristbands so that the water doesn't drip down your arms and into your robe or your pajamas when you're washing your face, don't get light colors. I'm so sorry I did, because it doesn't matter how well you wash your face, you will have contour at the edge of your hairline that will get all over this, and then you have to keep bleaching it. And the same thing with these, they get discolored and it doesn't look very cute. So I'm sorry about the light colored ones. I won't do that again. I just want to show you, I bought this little ceramic piece at a thrift store. It's hand done. It was just slab work, and look at, they had it signed on the bottom. And I thought, oh, that's great to put my skincare in. So I brought it home. I just thought this was a pretty way to display skincare or store your skincare that looks a little better than a plastic container. I want to show you these little rollers that I bought off of Amazon, and they're really handy. You can get them, they're super cheap. They're just little roller ball containers, little glass containers, and they have the roller ball up here. This is what I use to put castor oil in to do like my eyebrows and my eyelids and maybe underneath my eyes if they're feeling really dry. And it doesn't make a mess. In other words, you don't have to get it on your fingers. One thing though is that because the castor oil is so thick, I store them with the castor oil in them upside down so that when I grab it to put it on my eyebrows, my eyelashes, that it's already really into that roller ball. So these are super handy if you're looking for something like this. Another thing that I do, and I broke mine down when I moved, so I'm going to build up another one, is I have a travel bucket all the time. And this makes it really easy when I'm going on a trip to be able to grab things that work well for packing. So for this kit, I'm going to put in things like my smaller vitamin container. This is for 7 days. The one I have in the kitchen is for 14 days. So this is my smaller vitamin container. And then I keep little small travel size skincare, like this is a moisturizer, this is for hand cream, and then these little containers, I'll just keep all of that in my travel bucket. So when I'm getting ready to go on a trip, I can just open that up and grab things that work really well in a suitcase. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how good it feels to have that done. And you know, it didn't really take that long. Maybe I've been in here over an hour, a little over an hour. I know you guys saw less, but that wasn't bad for all those boxes and all that mess on the floor. So everything is now clean. It's not cute but it's clean. So over here on the side, I have my skincare in this really cool ceramic container here. Face wash, skin support, body lotion, and then my Invisicrepe body balm, which I love. This is my DIY mouthwash, which is amazing. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I'll go ahead and put the recipe for that in the description box down below if you didn't see the video I did where I shared that, because it's so cheap and it's so good. It's got tea tree oil and peppermint and distilled water and baking soda. It's awesome. So over here, this is a little lucite stand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a mirror, a magnifying mirror, lighted, hopefully. Pick one up at the thrift store. You can find them all the time at the thrift store, so that when I don't want to do my whole makeup, I can just really quick grab a few things out of the drawer. I especially like the Boom blush and the Boom highlighter. If I'm not going to be doing any makeup, I'll just curl my eyelashes, put on a little bit of blush, a little bit of highlighter, and I'm out the door. So the makeup mirror is going to go there. And then I want to get some styling things here. And clearly, I always have tissue around. I need a tissue box. And then over here, I think this is pretty cute. That's that silver plated stand with the really cool feet with all my soaps in it. So that's nice. It's not cute right now, but it is clean, which is such a relief. And then over here is the stool that I got. I sit on that when I blow dry my hair because I don't want to stand there for all that amount of time. Thanks so much for hanging out with me while I clean my bathroom. It made it go so much faster to talk to you guys. Now let's take a look at the magic transformation of the $175 leather thrift store couch. Here is the couch right after it was delivered. And to be honest with you, once it got to my house, it looked so much worse than I remembered it. The lighting in the thrift store where I purchased it was not very good, and I didn't do a good enough job of checking the entire couch for condition. While the leather itself was in great shape, no scratches, no tears, no rips, the discoloration on the couch was much more significant than I realized. And when it got delivered, I thought, uh-oh, we've got a problem here. And I started thinking about how I could color the couch. So I ended up hopping onto YouTube, watching a bunch of videos, and really learning that you can very successfully dye leather fairly easily at home. So I watched a few videos, and you can see on the back of this couch, it was almost faded to a very, very light tan. The couch itself was originally like a medium dark brown, so it definitely needed to be addressed. I hopped online and ended up ordering a product that had been used very successfully in the videos that I watched. I purchased this Fortivo Leather and Vinyl Recoloring Balm in dark brown and learned about how to do it and launched in. Here I have the couch all prepped and ready. I had actually washed it completely, all the cushions and the couch itself, when it first arrived. Now I am taking my little dust buster and cleaning all that interior area of the couch, which had some, little doodads and crumbs and that sort of thing. Just the type of thing that you get when you have a piece of furniture that's been around for a while. Then I took my handy little lint roller and went over all that area. Now it's time to start the recoloring process. So here's the container that I used, and I got 2 containers for the whole project, and I'm glad I did because I went through that first one in the first coat of dye. Using the gloves and the sponge that came in the kit, I started in, and it was a bit of a process learning how to put the dye on the sofa. What I started with was kind of a pouncing or tapping motion. And oh my gosh, you guys, that took forever. And it just didn't seem like it was very effective. But they did say in the instructions to just pat it on. So I worked that way for a while. But as you see, as I start working across the couch, the application process started being more of a sweeping the coloring solution on and then sort of tapping and blending it after that. And that seemed to work really well. It is a bit of a challenge to make sure that you get the color on evenly, that it blends, because once it dries down, and it dries sort of medium quick. In other words, it stays wet long enough to work with it, but you really can't go back to previous panels and blend it in because it is already dried down and is absorbing into the leather. When I was planning this project, I thought it was going to take a couple of hours to do the whole thing. Oh my gosh. Was I so very wrong? It took so much longer than I anticipated just because the couch was big. It's a big couch. And when you start working with a couch, what you realize is there's so many different surfaces. For instance, the back of the couch right here, not only is the back, but then it has that portion that goes over the top. So you have the top portion and then the other side portion. It just went on and on and on. So one piece of advice I can give you if you're doing a large piece is count on a lot of time, because I'm pretty sure I probably spent more than 6 or 7 hours doing this whole couch. As I'm working around the couch, you can see my strokes are different. I'm more or less covering the area I'm working on with the recoloring agent and then going back and making sure that the edges are feathered into each other, that the coloration is even, and that I'm not making it too flat. In other words, I'll put the balm on, work it around the couch, and then start pouncing it so that it has a little bit of that coloration variation that leather has, and it doesn't just look completely flat. Right here, I'm working in between the brass studs with a small little brush that wonderfully they include in the kit. It's a tiny little brush, and I'm going around each one of those studs to make sure that I get in between the studs onto the leather. I did get the coloring agent onto the studs. However, it doesn't look horrible. I'm looking at it right now and it doesn't look horrible. I may go back at a later time and clean off those brass studs and, address that coloration on them, but it's not something I'm going to do right away. To be honest, it just doesn't look like it's an issue. You don't even really notice it. So here is after coat 1. And coat 1, if you're changing the color of the leather, can look really scary because it looks so very uneven. It's a little frightening. But what I can tell you is just keep moving forward. When I came back around to do coat 2, it went a whole lot faster and the results were just remarkable. Now I am working on all the cushions. So there's back cushions and seat cushions on this particular couch. And oh my golly, again, I just want to say, plan on taking some time. Because when you're dealing with couch cushions, particularly leather couch cushions, the leather is going to wrap around underneath. So you have the top of the cushion, all 4 sides, and then partially the bottom cushion. So it does take a long time. And you can see I'm getting a little tired right here, and my strokes are a little bit more long. And then I go back and pounce it. It just became quite the project. But all in all, I do think that it was really, really worth it, because the difference in the couch is amazing. And the fact that I paid $175 and then just a $25 delivery fee, to me, ended up being so worth it. As I'm doing that right now and you're watching my face, I might not have agreed at that moment, but sitting in my living room looking at the gorgeous couch now, it was worth it. It really was. So super big success. If you've ever thought about dyeing leather, I can tell you my experience was excellent. The product really works. The process is fairly easy. It's not complicated. It's just a bit time consuming. So here's how the couch looks now. And it actually is showing up on the camera a little darker than it is in real life, because there's not a lot of light in this room. It's a very cool, dark umber brown. It is so pretty. I just finished this up last night, and I put a coat of leather conditioner on it, which is why it looks so shiny. It won't look that shiny once that conditioner has soaked into the leather. You can see some areas down here where it's getting more of a more matte finish for the leather. It came out so amazingly well. I am still shocked. I am still shocked about how great it looks. It looks like a super expensive leather couch, and I paid $175 for it plus $25 to deliver it, which I thought was a bargain. One thing I can say about the whole process of cleaning this, putting the dye on, and then putting the conditioner on, it was a project. I thought, a couple of hours. No. The first coat of the dye or the polish probably took me about 3.5 hours, because it's a huge piece of furniture. And one thing that I found out as I was working on it is that there's lots of surfaces and lots of around the corners and a lot of, I got to get this area and this area, not only on the couch itself, but on the cushions. The second coat went a whole lot faster, and I didn't have to work with the color so much because there was already a base color down. But I'll tell you what, I am still so shocked at how good it looks. The couch itself was in great condition when I brought it home. No rips, no scratches, no cat marks, no dog chewing on the feet, nothing. So now that it's a nice dyed color, it was really faded in areas beforehand. It just turned out so spectacular. So definitely a huge, huge win on this one. Now, as far as styling this couch, these are just elements I had around the house. That right over there is a blanket that I crocheted because I have a yarn problem. And then the green pillows, this one right here and this one right here, are from the Florida house. I brought just the pillow covers. I didn't bring the pillow inserts. I got those here at a thrift store. And then this brown one over here, I actually bought a set of pillowcases off of Etsy. And to be honest with you, not so much. I wouldn't buy from them again. Now, the dragonfly pillow I got off of Etsy, it's friggin' gorgeous. It really is. The brown one, it's an envelope style, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel as quality a pillow as the dragonfly one. So that's my 2 cents. Now, as far as styling the couch, I'm going to get a really great throw and some really perfect pillows, and it's going to look fabulous, and no one's ever going to know that it was at $175 thrift store find. Now let me show you some of the great finds that I have picked up just thrifting off of Facebook Marketplace and thrift stores and estate sales and this and that. I seriously cannot believe my luck. But when I think it through, I don't think it's lucky. I think it's just this is what's available when you start looking at resale items. And oh my gosh, I'm going to pay a fraction to furnish this house than I did for the Florida house. Just a fraction. And that's one reason right there that just keeps me going. So these two chairs here, let me give you a close-up here. These are mid-century modern, kind of a rattan style chair that are just, they're fabulous. They're older, they're probably from the 60s would be my guess. The upholstery is in great condition. The colorway is perfect. The wood looks fabulous. I have not wood oiled them yet, but I'm going to, and that's really going to improve the look. I picked these up off of Facebook Marketplace and paid $100 each. So that is $200 total for those chairs, and they're gorgeous chairs. I'm sure that I would have paid probably at least $250, $300 a piece to buy something comparable, new. And I don't even know if you can get something comparable new, because the craftsmanship on these is so much better than what we can get today. And you can see they're just really, really in great shape, both of them. And the little gal that I bought them from was so sweet. They had been in her family for a long time, and she has a young family, and they just didn't fit in her household. So I am not sure where these chairs are going to go. I think I'm going to keep one here as the little grouping for the living room, and then maybe put the second one over there on the side of the credenza. So 2 chairs from Facebook Marketplace. I paid $200 total, or $100 each. The other new piece is this credenza. I mean, how gorgeous is this? I saw this at a resale shop. It's kind of a thrift shop, but more of an upscale resale shop in Bend. And Bend is probably a little bit more trendy than Redmond. Redmond is more of a cowboy town. I mean, we have some nice restaurants and their food truck scene is really great, but it's much more of a cowboy rancher town than Bend is, which is why I like it. I love the whole cowboy rancher thing. So this I fell in love with right away when I saw it, and I paid up for this. This is by far the most expensive thing I've purchased since I got here. And my guess is probably going to be the most expensive thing I buy for the whole house. I paid $525 for this, but I'll tell you what, it is so incredibly gorgeous. And it's brand new. I don't know that anybody ever really put anything in the drawers. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you can see the handles are beautiful. It's an excellent, perfect, brand new shape. I think if I would have purchased it out at a furniture store new, probably, I don't know, you guys, what do you think? I probably would have paid $1,800, $2,000, maybe a little bit more. So $525, and then I did have to hire a guy to bring it because goodness knows it's super, super heavy, and that cost me, I think, $150. But he brought 2 pieces of furniture, this one and then a chair I'll show you in just a minute. So this is kind of the main decor place in the living room. And then up here, look at this painting. I am so in love with this painting. It's a stag. Isn't that fabulous? And you guys are going to crack up when you hear the story about this. I was actually driving home from Sisters. They had a Kiwanis rummage sale there, and I went for that. It's over on my other channel, Studio Kimberly, here on YouTube. I'll have that listed in the description box down below. I actually thrift the things I find, and I film that. So if you like thrifting, you might want to check out that channel. It's really fun. So I'm driving home from the Kiwanis rummage sale, which I filmed at my other channel, and I saw a sign for a yard sale, and I turned in, and it was a yard sale in an old barn where they had turned each stall into the type of goods like furniture or clothing or dishes, that sort of thing. And I found this stag painting. It's not framed, it's unframed, for $4. $4, ladies. $4. I am so in love with it. Oh my gosh. So I brought it home and it's just one of my favorite pieces ever. And then right here, if you watch my thrifting channel, you might have seen me pick this up. This is a wood bowl, and gosh, some of you have told me what kind of wood you think it is. I'm still not sure. I actually wood oiled it, and you can see how beautiful the finish is. I think I paid $7.99 for this bowl, and it is solid wood, gorgeous wood, and oh, I love it so much. And then I have gone ahead and put some of my crystals inside the bowl. So this is just the beginning little setup. This lamp right here, I don't think it's going to be the lamp that stays on this, but it's the lamp I have right now. I picked that up at a local thrift store. I think I paid $4.99 for it. And then over here, these are two thrift store finds. This sculpture, this is ironwood, and I just love it. It was actually up in my shop. I picked this up in Florida, but nobody bought it. And when I was getting ready to leave Florida, I could not leave this guy. I just love him so much. And so I just really have decided to keep him because I just love him so much. And then this little neat ceramic piece, this was also from my thrifting adventures. You can see right there, the Goodwill tag. I paid $1.99 for this one. How great does that look right there? And then that mandala painting in the background, that's one of mine. I ended up bringing 3 of them from Florida, and I thought it looked kind of nice there. I don't think it will stay there, but I just put it there for right now. Now over here, I just have a little, decor set up. Probably these things are not going to stay, but almost everything here is thrifted. That lamp is new, and I put in a warm halogen light in that, like a real light, not an LED light. The little framed piece, home is where your story begins. I got that at the thrift store as well. I just loved it. This box is a really cool find off of Facebook Marketplace. Isn't that beautiful? I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it or put it up in the shop. This is a piece of driftwood that I found on the beach with my daughter Heather. This globe I actually just picked up at an antique mall here in Central Oregon. I loved the colors of it. And then over here are just some other items. You guys, look at this. I went out one morning and this feather was right on my front patio. So I'm thinking that was kind of a gift from Mother Nature. So I've got it here with some more of my crystals and my heart rocks. This little guy, he was a find at, I think, a garage sale. I just thought he was really sweet and cute, so I snagged him up. And then the last furniture piece I want to show you is my office. This is actually where I do most of my work, and I picked this chair up at a kind of an upscale resale shop, again in Bend, where it's just a little bit more expensive. I paid $100 for this. It's in excellent condition and it is super comfortable. The footstool right there was a $35 resale pickup, but this is actually where I sit and I do my work on the computer and my edit videos, and this is where I have my morning coffee. And the reason I put all of this together is because of this. I know you can't see the outside really well, but I look right out that back window to the BLM land behind my house, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. So I watch the sunrise from here, and I watch the sunset from here, and it's just glorious, and I love it. Oh, I do have one more piece I want to show you, and it's this little table right here. Isn't this just so cool? I picked this up off of Facebook Marketplace for one reason. Not only is it a cool table, and the gentleman that refinished it did a great job, but look at this little copper piece right here. It had a few areas where it was chipped, so he took copper, hammered the copper, and then filled the chipped areas in with that copper. Isn't that the coolest thing? I just love it. Made me want to start working with copper. And then the two pieces on top of it, isn't this fun? This was a piece I picked up in a local thrift store, and this one right here is actually a find from a flea market in Florida. Now let's finish up with my next project. So the couch is done, and this is the next project on the agenda. Isn't that a cool dresser? I found this dresser at St. Vincent de Paul's, which is the same place that I picked up that couch. And I'd actually seen this dresser, a couple of times when I would go in there. And I think the third time I just thought, I love that thing so much. I really want to take it home. Now, it wasn't priced. And so I talked to Robert, who is the gentleman that handles all the furniture at the local Vinnie's, which is what I call St. Vincent de Paul's, the local Vinnie's. And he offered it to me for $50. And I said, sold. Now, I have no idea about the age or anything of this piece. If you know furniture and you think you might know something about what era it's from, I would love to hear from you. So the project on this piece is going to be to clean it up, refinish it, and do some repainting. What I got to refinish the wood with is this product called Restore a Finish. And I've had a few friends say this stuff is just the bomb. It's awesome. And I've also watched a few YouTube videos on this, and apparently it really does work miracles. And you can see the top of the dresser is very, very discolored and distressed. Now, I don't want to take away from the age of this piece. I just want to clean it up a little bit. In other words, the nicks and stuff, I'm not going to patch. I'm going to leave. And I'm going to try to keep the aging a little bit because I think that's part of the charm. Now, on the painted areas, I'm actually going to go over those myself. I worked as an illustrator for almost 3 decades, so I understand paint, and I feel like I can do a good job. So this is the color palette that I'm going to work with for this dresser. My goal is going to be, first of all, I want to take away the red. The red I'm using in my home is more of a dirt red or something a little bit, that tends more towards brown. So I got this color, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the red to it, keeping it very, very muted. And then I'm going to go in with the sage green and the forest green, and of course the deep ochre, and I might add a little bit of this real dusty blue as well. So that's going to be a fun project coming up in the next couple of videos. So this is something I'm going to figure out if I know how to do furniture or not. It's going to be an adventure. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, especially for helping me clean out the bathroom, because it just makes it so much better when there's other people around. So thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. Make it a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.